Okay, this one comes from a request. Someone asked me to review either Jim Beam White or Jim Beam Black. I decided to pick the black because it seemed more promising to have a better flavor. Jim Beam, of course, is a very, very famous bourbon company. I think they're actually the most popular brand of bourbon to actually call itself bourbon in the U.S. Of course, I think Jack Daniels probably outsells them. Don't quote me on that, I don't actually know. But Jack Daniels, of course, doesn't like to call their whiskey bourbon at all, even though technically it really is. And we'll get into a little bit more of that here in a second, actually. So this is the Jim Beam Black Sour Mash Kentucky Straight Bourbon. They have several other whiskeys in their lineup. They have the Jim Beam White label, which is just their standard 4-year-old bourbon. And apparently that one's very mild, very good for mixing. I haven't had it, so I can't attest to it personally, but that's what I've heard and read. Apparently it's very accessible for just about anybody, and that sits at 40%. They have a 5-year-old, which undergoes the same charcoal filtering process, or a similar charcoal filtering process anyway, to Jack Daniels. Yet they still call their 5-year-old a bourbon whiskey. So, you know, it just lends more credence to the fact that this Tennessee whiskey stuff is just, you know, marketing BS from Jack Daniels. They also have a rye whiskey, and this is pretty much right in the middle of the range. This is aged for 8 years, 43% alcohol by volume, so just a smidgen stronger. And basically, it's supposed to have more depth and more flavor, I guess, than charred oak barrels, 80 proof, truly distinctive character, yada yada yada. So let's get ahead and pour this here. All right. So yeah, it's about as straight up amber as you can get. Nice legs on the glass there. So go right to the aroma. Okay, so it's not big and bold. Getting a lot of your typical sort of vanilla. A little bit of vanilla, sort of a rye, a little bit of rye spiciness. You know, it smells very nice. It's not big and bold. It has a lot of similar notes, of course, to like Jack Daniels, but it's not, the flavors don't punch out as much as Jack Daniels. These ones are more, they're not as distinct. They're more blended well together, I guess you could say. Like Jack Daniels, you can generally pick out the flavors. They hit you over the head with them. I think Jack Daniels, I should really look back at my older reviews before I do some of these, but I'm pretty sure Jack Daniels is only 6 years. 4 or 6 years, so it's a younger bourbon than this. So that might be why. Alright, so it smells good. You know, it's basically at your typical bourbon smell. It's not bad. It's not overly complex or anything like that. It's fairly smooth, and it smells good. So we'll go right to the taste now. Good warmth on the back. Dry and woody in the finish. Right up front, vanilla, some sort of dark fruity kind of sweetness there. Got some spicy, sweet rye hints, and of course you got your vanilla, you got your wood, all mixing through. That rye spiciness really settles in the end with the wood. It tastes very good. It's a very nice little simple bourbon. It's nothing overly special, but it's just all the flavors are blended well together. There's nothing overpowering anything else, so it's very well balanced. It's not, it's not in the tier of your more smaller batch whiskeys, like smaller batch bourbons, like Maker's Mark or something like that. But as far as a big name bourbon goes, this is nothing to shake a stick at. It's very good. I think this one could easily be used as a mixer as well, and I think maybe they probably encourage that. But yeah, this is more, from the impression I get of their white label, it's a very, very mild bourbon. So this would probably be much more a competitor head-to-head with Jack Daniel's, where, like, obviously with the black label and everything, they're obviously going for that look. And flavor-wise, it does have quite a bit in common with Jack Daniel's, except that it's not as bold. It's not punching you there, like, again, with those big flavors. It's not as, I guess, uncouth would be a way to describe it. It's much more reserved and more, bit better balanced, and that's about it. Like, it's just really good. So yeah, I'd have to give a recommendation to this one. I'm actually kind of interested now in trying the regular Jim Beam, just to see how much bigger this is than that. Be interesting to try. I might, if I ever get a little bit extra money. This is, fairly affordable. I think it was about $30 or something like that Canadian, so it's probably hella affordable wherever you live, and if you're outside of Canada. So yeah, you could do a lot worse than Jim Beam. It's a nice, good, solid bourbon, and that's about all you got to really say about it. Recommended. Alright guys, I'm gonna go turn on the radio and play with the dog, play ball, sit back and finish off a little bit of this whiskey, and you guys have a good day, and we will see you later.